Now, on to the family reconciliation, and there's plenty of it in the news at the moment. But commentator Carol Malone had this to say regards Prince Harry.
I think they have to reset relations from this point onwards. I think what will definitely happen, in fact, is that they will lay some ground rules for communication from now on. And Harry cannot repeat what goes on in these private conversations because Harry really wants reconciliation and he wants to be able to freely speak with his father. At the moment, he can't even get hold of his father. There is zero contact. He can't get through to him on the phone. He has to go through aides. So I think he'd be willing to meet those demands. And it's a pretty simple demand. It's, if I chat to you, can you please not, have it leak out on Oprah Winfrey,
Is she close to the mark in your view, or is there a bit more to it?
I think certainly from the king's side, that's certainly stipulations that would be not only reasonable, but to be expected. The question is whether they will actually follow through. What has changed? What's so different now? I know Prince Harry has been very adamant about the fact that he wants to reconcile with his family, but who does he go to make this known? The BBC. So even though the royal family are saying, well, obviously, this is mainly a privacy issue, there has been no indication that this is what the Duke and Duchess of Sussex will actually do. And even if they choose to try and keep things private, we know that the whole ecosystem and infrastructure around them means that it will likely leak. So even if they don't intend for any private conversations to leak, do they have the kind of encoded security apparatus and infrastructure to prevent phone tapping, for example, which we know that Prince Harry has received settlements for? Or will they say things to their friends in Montecito that could eventually be leaked into the media in one form or another? So while I do think this is an olive branch, I actually don't think anything will come of it. I think Prince William in particular will say, I don't trust this person. They might have some sort of dummy calls to see if anything comes from that. I really don't think this is going to go as far as people think, because ultimately I think the king knows that his role as monarch is probably more consequential than having conversations with Harry, who's really made his own bed and is kind of seeing the consequences of all the things that he's done. So I personally am quite skeptical of this. I don't think it will go very far. I think William in his capacity will try and veto it, especially after the horrible year that him and his father and his wife have had, just in terms of their health, but also in terms of dealing with the fallout from all the scandalous accusations and allegations made by the Sussexes.
And a bit more scandal, maybe. Princess Catherine's longtime personal assistant, Natasha Archer, well, she's finished up at the palace. Nothing scandalous about that. She's apparently unfollowed Meghan and her brand As Ever on Instagram. I guess she doesn't need that in her life anymore, Esther.
I think so as well. I think she's having a bit of a detox. And to be perfectly honest, I think mainly the only reason why she followed those brands was just research. She's working with she was working with Princess Catherine. It's important to know the environment that you're working within. I was going to say know your enemy, but I don't think they would phrase Meghan as so much of an enemy. But it's important to know these things. And I think that's basically the only reason why she did it. It was for professional reasons, to kind of keep up with what's going on, to see if there's going to be any overlap. A lot of people don't understand the amount of strategizing and work that actually goes into not only curating a public image, but making sure that all the noise doesn't seep through. Because at the end of the day, they're professional, basically ambassadors. They represent charities and the UK. As uncomfortable as it is, they have to make sure that they have their ear on the ground and know that any kind of potential disruptions to what they're doing and anything that can negatively affect all the charities and work that they do is scoped out and limited. Absolutely.